Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with another Thoughts from My Library segment. This is for April 27th, 2020, and I just want to start with the current laydown of all of the current circumstances that are taking place. We're seeing at least where I am in New Jersey, we're seeing a somewhat sense of forward progress, but there's still it's still pretty much things are going as they are. But there's one term that I do not like that I'm hearing, and that's the new normal. I think that the term new normal makes it seem as if we need to adapt and not put up with things that are going on, because the ultimate goal is to get out of this circumstance that we are in and return to where things were before it started. Maybe on the mental state of mind, we're going to be a bit more cautious, and we may realize things from prior. But our goal is to get back to engaging in the same kind of social gatherings that we had engaged before. We want to be able to engage in other activities that involve in-person meeting. We may have to be a little bit more careful, but I don't think that means that we should have to be wearing face masks and staying 6 feet away from people when what we should be doing is finding solutions. We need to be concentrating on not just looking for one solution, but multiple solutions, be it vaccines, treatments. Just provide people with options so that this condition has a great deal of so that the recovery rate is almost 100%, which in a way, in many cases it is, but there's still that concern with high-risk people. Even for high-risk people, we should make that number go down. And the term new normal needs to just be disregarded completely. We don't need to make this something that we need to... This isn't a matter of getting used to it. It's a matter of dealing with it for the time being. And once we find multiple solutions and get this under control, then we can get back to where we were. And I think we can. And I think we will. I think that there's the one thing that's been able, for me at the very least, to keep my mind off of this is the NFL draft of 2020. Maybe not for all people. I like football. I like American football. So following along with that has been quite something, and it was great that they've been able to put something together so that you can so that they were able to do it. That people were able to contribute through their remote locations. And Roger Goodell was able to coordinate things from his basement. Me being a New York Giants fan, I'm very happy that they were putting a great deal of concentration on their offensive line, which had been their major issue for the last few years. I would say as far back as 2013 has it been a major issue. But they went with Andrew Thomas. They felt that he was their most reliable selection for the position. And then as of the 5th round, they have drafted 2 more people for their offensive line. And I think that they have some great offensive talent, and they also have some great potential underrated offensive talent that I think they have the ability to break out. And I think that with a decent offense, with a better offensive line, and they also have a much better offensive line coach than they have before, I think that things look quite promising, even in a potentially challenging division. But otherwise, it was it was the way that things have gone. It wasn't necessarily an unpredictable draft, or it wasn't necessarily. Yeah, it was, but at the same time, it was still quite It's quite interesting to keep up with. I only watched the first few selections, but I've been following along, and honestly, it's been easier to follow along off of Wikipedia than it has been on the NFL website, because that seems to slog a little bit, whereas I can go right on Wikipedia and it'll have the picks right then and there. I also made reference to the fact that I bought some plays from Dramatist Play Service in order to support them during their time of need, not just for the issues involving physical plays and the acquisition of them, but also the fact that theater is clearly seeing a big hit due to the fact that outlets have been closing down because of the current circumstances. And they also had a sale, a free shipping sale. So I decided to jump on purchasing 12 plays. And these include 2 plays by Lynn Nottage, Mud River Stone, and Crumbs from the Table of Joy. I rounded off my DPS collection of Ira Levin plays, and that includes Dr. Cook's Garden, Critic's Choice, and General Seeger. I bought The Cripple of Inishmaan by Martin McDonagh. The concept of this play just seemed to intrigue me, which pertains to someone with a disability looking to make something of themselves. The Principality of Sorrows by Keith Bunin. Goldfish by John Kolvenbach. A Coffin in Egypt by Horton Foote. The Awake by Ken Urban. The Great Society by Robert Schenkkan, which is the sequel to All the Way and pertains to the LBJ plays. And French Waitress and Other Plays by John Patrick Shanley. Brian from Bookish brought to my attention a very interesting website that sells books. It's called bookshop.org, and not only do they sell books, but a portion of the proceeds that they make go to support independent bookstores. And I'm a huge supporter and advocate for that cause, and I appreciate that Brian brought it to the attention of myself and others, and it just so happens that I decided to utilize it, and I purchased 7 more books that I'm going to haul in an upcoming video. But a portion of my proceeds which they told me about went to support local bookstore or independent bookstores, and I'm hoping to utilize it on future occasions as well. It makes me feel much better because I was feeling somewhat bad that I had to rely on other means in order to acquire books, but so I'm happy that I was able to find a site of that nature, which also leads me to the idea that for those of you that are judging the Booktube prize, I would begin looking into as many websites that sell books as possible and look at the shipping rates as well as the prices, but also the times when it comes to shipping to find which one works best for you. For me, the one that I like utilizing the most at this time has been Books A Million, because Books A Million has pledged that they will process your order within 24 hours, and because I was willing to do so, I put in the option that gave me the quickest but also the most reasonable shipping time as possible. So I was able to get all 6 of my books for the quarterfinals as quickly as possible. The one thing to keep in mind is that Amazon, that's usually been the most reliable, but there are plans of a nationwide strike, so there may be delays on orders. So, and with something like the Booktube prize, you only find out right at the beginning of the round when when you'll be able to, what books you will be able to get. But that's one of my big things, is to begin looking for alternate options. But as far as getting the books themselves are concerned, I haven't had too many issues as far as my literary magazines. I've still been getting the Analog and Asimov magazines. Fantasy and science fiction, which comes out of Hoboken, has still been producing. It just amazes me that these magazines are still pushing even during these challenging times, and I have a great deal of admiration for them for doing so. I want to thank everybody for checking out this segment of Thoughts from My Library. I hope that you check out more videos from our channel, and if there's anything that you any thoughts that you have that you wanted to share or talk about, I'd be happy to do so. Thank you, and for now, keep reading.